All right, let's dive into one of the wildest stories in all of human biology. It's about an ancient invader, but here's the twist. It didn't just attack our ancestors, it actually became a core part of what makes us human today.
Okay, look at this. 8%. Just 8%. Let that number sink in for a moment.
Because what if I told you that a full 8% of your human genome isn't, well, human? That it didn't come from your primate ancestors in the way you think? What if it came from a virus?
Yeah, you heard me right. That 8%, it's the leftover code, the genetic debris of viruses that infected our ancestors millions of years ago. These aren't live viruses anymore, not at all. Think of them more like ghosts in our genome, literal fossils embedded right there in our DNA.
So the fancy scientific name for these things is endogenous retroviruses, or ERVs for short. And here's how it happened. Picture this. Millions of years back, a retrovirus infects, say, one of our distant primate ancestors. But this time, it does something crazy. It doesn't just make the animal sick, it manages to sneak its own genetic code into that animal's reproductive cells, the sperm or the egg. And bam. Just like that, it became a permanent heirloom passed down from parent to child for millions of years, all the way to you.
Now, for decades, scientists kind of just ignored this stuff. They called it junk DNA, useless clutter from our evolutionary past. But here's the thing about evolution. It is not wasteful. It's the ultimate recycler. And in one of the most incredible twists in biology, it took a weapon from this ancient enemy and repurposed it for one of the most important jobs imaginable, literally building the placenta.
So how on earth did that happen? Well, to get it, you got to understand a key piece of viral machinery, the envelope protein. You can think of this thing as the virus's molecular skeleton key. Its entire purpose in life is to grab onto one of our cells and force a fusion, basically breaking and entering on a microscopic level so the virus can get inside and hijack everything. It's a ruthlessly efficient tool for invasion.
Okay, and this is where the story just gets brilliant. Evolution completely flips the script. It takes that exact same protein, the one designed for invading and destroying, and gives it a totally new purpose. Instead of fusing a virus to a cell, our own body started using it to fuse our own cells together. Not to break, but to build. These repurposed viral genes, we call them syncytins now, they became the master architects of the placenta. What they do is take a bunch of individual placental cells and fuse them all together into one single giant unbroken barrier. This wall, this layer, is the absolute lifeline for a developing fetus. It's how nutrients get from the mother to the baby, and maybe even more importantly, it's what shields the fetus from being attacked by the mother's own immune system. Just let that sink in. Without a gene we stole from an ancient virus, human pregnancy probably couldn't even happen.
But wait, it gets even crazier. Because this viral DNA isn't just the bricks and mortar for the placenta. Nope, it's also part of the control system. It's written into the instruction manual for one of the most critical events of all, the timing of birth.
Think about it, right? Every pregnancy runs on a clock.
It needs a timer that knows exactly when to start the countdown to labor. And in humans, a huge part of that timer is a hormone called corticotropin-releasing hormone, or CRH. Towards the end of a pregnancy, the placenta just starts flooding the system with this stuff. And that huge surge is one of the key signals that says, okay, it's go time.
So the million-dollar question is, what's flipping that switch? What tells the placenta to suddenly crank up the hormone production at just the right time?
I think you know where this is going. Yep, it's one of our viral ghosts again. Incredible research has shown that a specific piece of old viral DNA acts like a genetic switch, or maybe more like a volume knob. It sits right next to the gene for that CRH hormone, and late in pregnancy, it just cranks the dial all the way up. I mean, this is mind-blowing. An ancient viral infection literally gave our ancestors the genetic tool that helps control when a human baby is born. And here's where the story goes from just being about us to being about, well, almost all mammals. This isn't some weird one-off fluke in human evolution. It turns out that hijacking viral genes to build a placenta is a trick that nature has pulled again and again and again. You look across the family tree, primates, mice, cats, dogs, cows, you name it, and you find the same story. But here's the kicker. They all captured different viruses at different points in their evolutionary history. They all came up with the same solution, but they did it independently.
This is a classic textbook example of something called convergent evolution. It's the idea that different species can arrive at the same solution from totally different starting points. A great example is the wing. Birds have them, bats have them, insects have them. They all fly, but they all evolved flight completely separately. Well, this is the same idea. All these different mammals, scattered across time and geography, independently discovered that a virus's fusion gene was the perfect pre-made tool for building a placenta.
And you can see just how dedicated this viral tool is to its new job. Take horses, for example. Scientists looked at where this viral gene was active, and get this, its expression level was almost 30 times higher in the placenta than in any other tissue in the entire body. It's not a jack of all trades. It's a highly specialized tool for one critical, life-giving purpose.
So, okay, this is an incredible story about our deep past. But what does it all mean for us, right here, right now? Well, this isn't just ancient history. Understanding this viral part of ourselves has huge implications for medicine today.
And it really makes you wonder, right? This viral code buried deep inside us. Is it a threat, a ticking time bomb from the past? Or is it an opportunity, a treasure chest of genetic tools we're only just beginning to understand?
The answer, it seems, is both. On one hand, when these syncytian genes don't work right, it can lead to devastating pregnancy complications like preeclampsia. But on the other hand, they hold clues about how the body learns to tolerate something foreign, like a fetus. And understanding that could be a game changer for organ transplants or autoimmune diseases. And then there's this, which is just wild. The very same docking port on our cells that these viral proteins use, it's often found in massive quantities on cancer cells. So now, scientists are thinking, hey, could we use this viral trick to design new therapies that hunt down and target cancer? It's a huge area of research.
It is just such a profound, strange twist of fate, isn't it? For millions of years, our ancestors were locked in this epic arms race against viruses. And it turns out that along the way, we didn't just survive. We stole their best tech and used it to build the next generation of ourselves. It really makes you think maybe some of our greatest strengths, our most brilliant innovations, are hiding in the code of our oldest and deadliest enemies.